Hey everybody, it's good to see you all again. Welcome back to the Backroom podcast with yours truly, as always. I hope you are all doing well this fine evening, afternoon, or morning. Well, depending on where you're watching this and when you're watching this, and well, whenever it comes out, of course. Hold on, let me get the microphone out of the way so I don't actually block the light behind me. There we go. Gotta get that light bar in there. I paid good money for it, so gotta get my use out of it. Oh my god, everybody. So I'm all bundled up right now. I do have a space heater going on behind me. It's freezing in here. It is really, really damn cold, and I'll get into why that is in just a few. I'll go ahead and give you, as always in the beginning of my podcast, a little bit of a heads up as to what's been going on in my life and what's new and what's going on and what is going to be going on. So if you guys want to keep up with what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, please check me out on Twitter or Discord. Of course, as always, those guys are going to be linked down in my descriptions wherever you guys are watching this, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Anchor, wherever. Also, somebody has been hanging out on my lap, so you might see her walking around or rifling about as the podcast goes on. Got to keep the door closed because it's so cold in here, or at least so cold out there. So, yes. Also, if you hear any noise down below, I apologize, but they're doing some work down there to stop the flooding. That's been a whole ongoing thing. So what the hell has been going on? So after the last podcast, we thought the flooding was going to relax a little bit, but it very, very much didn't. It actually got way worse before it got better. I went down there one night after a long walk, and the water was above my ankles, and it was just getting worse and worse, and it was starting to flood the rest of the basement. So I started trying to push the water out with a fucking broom, and that worked a little bit, but it just kept coming, and there was nothing I could do about it. So we waited for the owner to come over, and after about a day, the owner came over and started jackhammering down into the concrete where the actual pipe was at, and he got down into there and actually got to the pipe that was broken, removed the section that was broken, and put a new section of pipe in there. So finally our garage is not flooded out. We've got the doors and such open so we can actually, get all the water out and get the moisture out so we can actually bring all of our stuff back down there. It's been a struggle. If you don't have your home, like if it's cluttered, I don't know what it is. At least for me, it makes me depressed. It makes it very, very difficult to enjoy where I'm living or where I'm at. It sucks. So, in conjunction with the water being all goofy, there's still a couple of units that were being flooded, and right now the owner is here today, going into those units, going down into the concrete with a jackhammer, and removing the sections of pipe that are busted and broken and replacing them with new ones. So hopefully after today we won't have any more flooding. But in conjunction with that, the boiler apparently goofed up a couple nights ago and no longer works. There was a motor that was running in it and the water fried it. So we've been waiting for the heat to come back on. That's why I'm still all bundled up and I look so stylish doing it. And I also have a space heater going on behind me. That's why, because we haven't had heat in the apartment for like the past 3 days. It's been fucking cold. It sucks. It's really difficult to, get yourself up or do much of anything when your fucking bones hurt because just how cold it is. It's not fun. It's brutal. So another bit of unfortunate news. I'm not going to go too deep into this because it's even personal for me. But Mandy and I have been having some relationship issues, more or less stemmed and in part to the fact that we have been dealing with all this shit for the past month. It's been a struggle, and we have both been coping as best as we can, but it's been very hard. So we're getting things back on track now. It got a little hairy the other night, but we're getting things back on track at this point. So hallelujah for that. So things are mellowing out here on this end, which is nice. We finally get to regroup, and relax for just a little bit before we go on vacation, which leads into the next thing I'm going to give you an update on. Mandy and I are heading to Tahoe this coming Thursday, so super, super stoked for that. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Lake Tahoe. It's absolutely gorgeous there. It's gonna be super sunny, so I don't know how the skiing or snowboarding is gonna be. I'm hoping to learn how to ski this time. I've only been a snowboarder my entire life, so learning how to ski is gonna be a lot of fun. So going to Tahoe, get to see the family, because we go there for the Super Bowl every year. I'm not really all that much into watching sports, to be honest, myself, but I like going there just to be with my family, and really that's what it's more or less about, is just a time for us to all get together and just relax, have a couple of drinks, have a lot of drinks actually, have way too much to drink usually, eat whatever the hell you want, go skiing, go gamble, go do whatever you want, and just have fun and be around each other. That's the entire point of it. So Mandy and I are pretty stoked for that. The only downside right now is my dad had a positive COVID test about a week ago, and he's been dealing with that, and about, I think, a day or two ago, he said that he was more or less symptom-free. So keeping my fingers crossed that he's no longer contagious, because we're still going to be going, and we really don't want to get sick. Mandy is still dealing with breathing attacks, and some pretty rough ones. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, but we're both really excited and we can't wait. What else is new that I haven't really talked to you guys about? Really nothing else. That's more or less all the big new stuff that's been going on. A bunch of small stuff that's really not necessary. Just work around the apartment. Just got my blood test the other day, went to the doctors, all that fun jazz. My blood work is pretty good now. I had a high white blood cell count before. No longer. I mean, okay, not true. It is still high, but that's because I just got over COVID, and apparently I might just have a high one because I smoke a lot of weed. So, who knows? Oh boy, alright. Well, it's time for us to go ahead and get into the actual topic of this podcast. By the way, before I actually get into the topic, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to Streambeats for providing the music for this podcast. Streambeats is a really cool site that you can go to get a bunch of non-copyrighted music for your streams, for your podcasts, for your YouTube videos, whatever the hell you want to use it for. I will go ahead and drop a link down below so you can check them out. They're awesome. They got great music of a bunch of different genres. Anyways, today's topic is going to be about family. Oh boy. So, family is an interesting topic for me. I've got a pretty close relationship with one side of my family and not so much with the other side, and I'll briefly touch on the other side, even though I don't know them very well. But as a kid, we'll go ahead and I guess just start out as a kid. I always was around my dad's side of the family, at least when we do family visits. My mom's side, not so much. They were kind of different, I'll say that. They were a little different. But my dad's side of the family were hard-headed Scotsmen and Scottish ladies. I can't do a Scottish accent, but I can try. They're a fun, rowdy group of people, and there's a couple less of them than there used to be, unfortunately, but they're fun. So anytime that there'd be a family gathering, you could always guarantee that there would be at least one argument amongst the group or amongst individuals, and it will usually have to do with politics. And that's where I learned my hatred for politics. I fucking hate it. And the fact that my family, for the most part, you know, they mostly agree, except my dad. I will say he was a little bit of an outlier. He was much more conservative, and I'm not bashing anybody for their political beliefs, but my uncle, which my dad and him had a very close relationship, he was a very staunch liberal, and to the point where he had more socialistic values. And him and my dad just used to fucking go at it. They were vicious. And at times they would get to the point where they wouldn't talk to each other for weeks or maybe even a couple months afterwards. My aunt was always a fun wild card too. She is, I won't go too deep into it because I don't want to out anybody, but she will be what I would call a very functional alcoholic. She can function perfectly in society, but she loves to drink. And back when I was younger, not so much anymore, she's tamed it down a lot. But back when I was younger, when she'd start drinking a lot, she would, she'd start shaking her head and start eyeing potential targets. And you didn't want to be a potential target because she had a way of just picking at you. Like insecurities that you might have or little inconsistencies. And when she finds something, you think that after me making that mistake several times, I wouldn't make it anymore. But after so many times, like after a little while of digging, she'd find something big and juicy to bite into, and then she would just lay into you for no particular reason at all. Very unwarranted, and she would just rip you apart. And to this day, I mean, she doesn't really do it that much anymore, but she's a scary woman. You do not want to get on her bad side. She's fun as hell, but she is very, very scary, and you do not want to piss her off. I learned the hard way as a kid that if she says she's gonna do something, she 100% is going to do it. There are no ifs, whats, or buts. If she says she's gonna do it, she's gonna do it. One time I pissed her off and annoyed her so much to the point where she threatened me and said, "If you keep being a little shit, I'm gonna drag you into the street, I'm gonna pants you." And I didn't believe her. And I kept messing with her and, bored because I didn't really have much else to do. So I kept bugging her and pestering her until finally she grabbed me by the fucking ear and pulled me out of the house. And everybody followed too. And she pantsed me right in the middle of the street and just fucking left me there. It's a funny memory. It was not abusive at all. I had it coming. I 100% admit I had it coming, but if she says she's gonna do something, she'll do it. And she's got a long memory, like an elephant. She still remembers stuff that I did as a kid to this day. But this isn't all just about my aunt. She's a funny character though, and I love her. Two other characters would be my two uncle cousins. They are cousins, but they're old enough to be my uncles, and they're the reason why I think I have a bit of a thick skin. They used to bully the hell out of me when I was younger, and by no means in a bad way. They just used to tickle me and roughhouse with me and throw me around and stuff. It was all in good fun. And the most infamous thing that they used to do would be threatening to give me swirlies. And to be honest, I don't remember if they've ever actually given me one. And if you're not aware of what a swirly is, or what a specifically chocolate swirly is, a swirly is when you grab someone by their legs and you dunk their head into the toilet and you flush the toilet, giving them a nice little swirl. Now, a chocolate swirly, that takes it to a whole nother level of nastiness. A chocolate swirly is when you take a deuce and then you go get your unsuspecting victim and you pull them in there and you dunk their head in there with a log to give them company. You don't want either. And I got to the point where they were dunking my head in the toilet itself, but not quite in the water, just like the tips of my hair were getting wet. That's what I remember. I don't remember my actual head going completely in the bowl. So I had a lot of fun as a child seeing my family. There was only, I will say, one kind of dark spot, and it's really unfortunate, to be honest. I have a third cousin, and I'm not gonna name names here. It's not my business to give that information out. But this cousin and I, she was about my age, a little younger actually, and she was more or less the black sheep of the family. Nowadays, looking back at it, she, I believe, was displaying some very severe signs of specific mental disorders. But my family, I think, didn't really care so much about that, or didn't really notice it so much. And I'm not sure how much help she got at home, but she started displaying some very unfortunate symptoms of a heavy eating disorder and possibly a personality disorder as well. I'm not a doctor or a psychiatrist, so I can't say. I can just mention from personal experience. But as a kid, she made my life hell when it came to visiting my family. I did not want to see my family because of her. And whenever they would say, oh, so-and-so is going to be here soon, are you excited? No, I was never excited. I wanted to leave the moment they said she was coming over. And when she'd come over, she would just pester me. She would bug the hell out of me. She wouldn't leave me alone. And she had this really obnoxious habit of knowing some of the things that I'm personally embarrassed about, holding them over my head and saying she was going to tell the whole family about this stuff. And these are things I didn't want talked about. She knew them, and I don't know how she did, but she did. And I would more or less be coerced into doing things that she would want me to do, which sucked. And after a certain age, I finally called her bluff on it, and I stopped being bullied by her. Now, looking back at it, I'm pretty sure I don't know why she treated me the way that she did. And hell, even as a tween, I was getting into dating. I was really into online dating as a, not quite a teenager, but almost there. I started doing a little bit of online dating I don't know why, I was looking for something, and I found this really attractive person my age, and we hit it off. Turns out it was the entire time it was my cousin catfishing me, which really was a very strange and disturbing thing to have happen. Also, I apologize if it does that black screen thing. I don't know what to do about that. I think it might be the HDMI cable going into the computer. I have no idea. But I held a grudge against her for a really long time for that, and justifiably so. I mean, that was really a shitty thing to do. And then she blamed me for it, saying I was an idiot, which sucked. That was not fun. But getting back to it, as a whole, I love that side of the family, and it's always great to see them, especially now as an adult. Now, my other side of the family is my mom's side, and I don't know them really at all. The only one that I know is my grandmother because she moved away, but the best way I can describe them, and this is by no means meant to be derogatory or mean, they're just some of them are very small-minded, small-town people. Nothing wrong with that. But they are decently homophobic, some of them are decently racist, and they have very small views of the world. And my mom didn't really want to, fall under that umbrella anymore, so she moved when she was younger. She was the black sheep of her family, she was the different one, and she left, and so did my grandmother. They were both different. So I can't really say that I know much about that side of the family. We never went to family gatherings together, never really did anything together. My mom didn't really want to be a part of them, so that's kind of a bit of an enigma to me. So it's always about my dad's side of the family. So now this kind of brings us up to the current day and how it's going to be when Mandy and I go to visit my family in Tahoe in a couple of days. So it's a little different now. There's fewer of us. One of my aunts and my uncle passed away, which, really sucks, and they will both very much be missed. So we almost kind of do this in a way to, always honor those of us who may not be around anymore. So my uncle cousins, at this point, they're both, middle-aged. And one of them's done a really damn good job of keeping himself in shape, so he could still probably whoop my ass. The other one, he's doing all right. He could still probably whoop my ass if he really tried to. But it's always good to see them. My cousin, the other one, isn't gonna be there. She's never at these kind of events because, again, I don't think she felt really all that welcomed in our family. Now, the one thing that I will say is a bit awkward now is one of my aunts is no longer going to be there either. She kind of ostracized herself from the family a little bit because after my uncle passed away, I think there was a lot of high heated emotions, and she got really in my dad's face and got physical with him. When she got in my dad's face, he pushed her away and she fell down. I don't think he meant to push her down, but that was the result. And when he was turning back around to see how she was, she fucking punched him in the face. and he fell and fucking dislocated his finger on the way down. So things haven't really been all that cordial ever since, which is really unfortunate. I wish we could, you know, all be a family again, but sometimes, you know, things just don't work out that way. Though those of us who want to get together do get together, and then, well, those two, I don't know if they're ever going to truly reconcile. I hope the day does come, but there's a lot of history between the two of them, and I imagine that's probably one of the reasons why. I'm not going to get into that because that's their business. But all in all, it's going to be a really fun time seeing them again, and I'll probably have plenty of stories to tell. I mean, those of you who watch my cam, that beer bong that I have that I used to use all the time, I got that from Tahoe. It was a gag gift. I could only imagine the gag gifts that I'm going to be, that we're going to be seeing this time around. It's going to be really interesting. So, anyway, for those of you guys who watch this on YouTube and you're comfortable with sharing some of that, some information, I guess, what is it like when you visit your family? What is your family like? I know you guys can't really comment on Anchor or Spotify, so YouTube is the best place, but share with me what it's like to visit your family. It's always a hoot when I visit mine. We all drink, we all have a good time, and I'm really excited to see them again. So if you're comfortable with sharing that information, please do. I would love to get some interaction down in the comments. I would love to start reading those. So anyways, everybody, that is going to be it for today's podcast. Again, I love my family, and I'm really excited to see them again, and I hope they're excited to see me too. Now, I'm going to be gone from Thursday to Thursday, so I can't promise there's going to be a podcast this coming week, but there might just be. So keep your eyes peeled for that on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And if not, then I will go ahead and regroup over the week when I get back. So everybody, again, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. And just getting a single view on these podcasts keeps me going. And, well, we're past the point of just getting single views. So you guys are amazing. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I really do want to get more interaction going on, and I want to start bringing people on. I just haven't really reached out to do so yet. So that'll hopefully be happening in the near future. So catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, email, what have you. I'll check that all down below. Again, huge thank you to Streambeats for providing the music for this podcast. I'll go ahead and put a link for them below as well. And as always, everybody, this is the Backroom Podcast with me, Lucas. You all drive safe. You all have a good one. Stay warm, stay dry, and I'll hopefully see you guys next Tuesday or Wednesday. Peace out, everybody.